Ian.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if we could go a full month without talking about the Intellivision Amico. Like a full month. We're getting like a couple weeks in, and I'm like,
We made it a week.
a couple. And they're like, oh, this could be dying down. They're in their quiet period, which means that they're going to slink away and probably declare bankruptcy and go off into the night, and maybe not give back people's refunds for pre-orders. I have been getting more word about some pre-order refunds. Money came back. Some have not. Be very vocal about it. If you have not I've gotten direct screenshots of multiple people saying, hey, I emailed them a month ago. I still don't have my money back. Unfortunately, not everyone's going to get their money back.
Seems like they've been refunding people who they feel like might be the loudest about not getting a refund.
Like if I had pre-ordered, damn well they would have refunded me versus,
sure.
Like that's the thing. Like they don't want to give back all this money, obviously, because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. But like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think you're just going to magically find this $100 back in your account if you don't ask for it. They're going to keep that.
No. I saw a couple of screenshots of someone that was like in one of the Amico fan club groups was like a month ago saying, I'm holding out hope. I'm not getting my money back. And then next month I asked for my money back.
Yep. I saw that. That was
even the
special.
Even the hardcore, you don't want to call everyone a cultist, but even the hardcore fans that were just overly optimistic are like reading the writing on the wall. Some of them finally are doing that. And some of these are just like sort of hardcore Intellivision fans that want to continue the legacy, even though there's no legacy really anymore to continue.
Yeah, there do seem to be some people who are like, leaving the money in out of this misguided notion of support, and it's like you're not supporting anything about the company you once loved. This company that you've put money into,
that was Mattel.
Yeah, this company that you've put money into has given you literally nothing.
That was Mattel. Mattel created the Intellivision. Then they sold it to like the Intellivision group, but like Mattel, go buy some toys to support Mattel anyway. So in the midst of all this, on the Intellivision _Amico Reddit, Ian, there was a revelation that happened concerning one of the developers, a German developer. German, of course, called Wasted Studio. There was a thread saying German grant money fall, asking what the hell happens with this. And then someone's named ZZ Boba said, I was told that the studio behind Moon Patrol, Wasted Studios, folded in 2021. And then they said the bigger fraud to me is them selling a physical product games while probably fully aware of the fact that these games are far from finished.
What?
And console release is highly unlikely just to cash in some bucks to survive for a few more weeks. We pointed that out at the time. That's exactly what the playbook called for.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
This wasn't anyone being benevolently being like, you have all asked for this so many times.
Didn't we predict that several months before that they were going to sell the physical games before the console came out? We said that. And no one ever pushed back and said you were liars. That's the thing. No one ever said, hey, from Tommy or Intelligent, hey, you guys are right. They only call out when we were wrong. If they were deathly silent, that's when we knew we got them.
Yeah.
We got them at that point. So ZZ Boba checked basically a website, northdata.com, which I guess talks about legal proceedings in Germany. So this company, Wasted Studios in Munich, Germany, was liquidated. They were dissolved.
Oh,
in a legal proceeding.
Huh. How about that?
They were dissolved. They were formed, registered. It looks like in late 2015, early 2016, and then liquidated and dissolved in July of 2021. Company no longer exists legally. And this is the company that did Moon Patrol, which was the original app game. One of the more polished looking games, by the way. I'll give them credit on that. It was. And then
it got a playable. It proceeded progressed far enough to get a public demo released to the public.
Yeah, and then they did like one update on the app. They didn't update the app. Remember the disaster of the app that I criticized and they took it out. You had to find a fucking Amico, an Intellivision logo, and then QR read on your. It was like so convoluted just to load it up. It was like at that point I'm like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're making it hard for me to get to the app. I had to find the fucking logo on my phone to update to get the app.
It was an incredibly short demo, but it was. I mean,
one level.
It's Moon Patrol. It was competent enough.
It was a proof of concept.
Yes.
But they also did biplanes as well. So they also did that one, and that one was showed off as well, as certain events we'll get into. So I guess what ZZ Boba points out is this. Not only did this company, it's one thing for a company to dissolve, right? And no longer exist. But these games were shown at public events, and we'll go through the timeline, and then were sold. I got them right here for effect. I don't have the energy to make a big thing out of it. The physical products, 2 out of the 8, 25% of your physical products from a company that no longer existed by the time these came out was done. We know that these games were not finished. We know that what I hold my hand is technically not a game license. It's a promise of downloading a game once it's available and the system comes out. We know that. That's on the website. It's in the FAQ.
It's an extra fancy IOU. Please believe us, we will get you this game at some point.
These are trinkets. But they used this developer to make 2 of these trinkets. So this is how the timeline works, Ian. And AmicoGames.com also had a nice post laying this down. And I don't know how I originally missed this a week ago, but I did. But now we're going to go through it here. So you have the company's done July 13th of 2001. It's dissolved, right?
Yep.
It's fucking done. They go to Boomers. Almost in our backyard. They go to Boomers September 11th. What a date to go.
Isn't that the one that they showed biplanes at?
They showed, I think they might have shown biplanes. I think they might have shown Moon Patrol there. But they went and showed off games there. And that was September 11th. And people are saying, oh, I'm playing these games. This is fun. They did the Crayola event as well, and I think they definitely played police biplanes there, like in the basement.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of biplanes, but I know people have said they've played it. Yes.
Yeah. So it was definitely there around this period. Then they go to Thanksgiving Point, Turkey Point, as
Turkey Point, gobble gobble, and that's where that picture. October, that's where the picture of Moon Patrol with filler text,
with Star Fox text, was reported on, and it was texted about, and Sam from Ars Technica even tweeted about that at the time.
3 months after, 2 to 3 months after the studio's already shuttered.
After it's gone. So you have multiple events where 2 games are being shown by a company that no longer exists legally. So first I'll ask, why? Why are those companies why is this company no longer in business? Were they not? And these are all. This is all speculation, obviously. Were they not getting paid out anymore from Intellivision Entertainment to finish the games? Did they have to survive based upon a revenue cut? And they thought by now the system would actually be out or something to finish it. What was happening? They obviously didn't finish these games. They couldn't even put in fucking placeholder text to me, which said that at the time that was an embarrassment that they couldn't spend 5 minutes to write up a little description about Moon Patrol.
Right.
Like, you got to be kidding me. And then took another game's text wholesale. But what happened here to this studio? What happened to them? And why was a decision then made for 2 of the more probably polished games then, knowing that the company is done with, to sell these fucking trinkets when you know the games are not finished or close to being finished? And not just that, the studio's gone to finish them. Why?
Because, I mean, at that point they're panicking. They've already got that timing wise that would also be around the let's see, Sudesh. Yeah, we already talked.
The Sudesh loan was happening around this time.
The Sudesh loan was happening around the time that the games went for sale.
August, whatever
so this is, I mean, we said it. We said at the time they put on a public face, and people helped them put on that public face. But
YouTubers covered this.
This was the oh shit moment for Amico.
I'm not calling them out, but Slopes Game Room did a weird thing where they brought in like 6 or 7 different like British UK YouTubers to talk about these things.
Yeah, and
I'm just looking at this as like, but these aren't games, right? I'm like, these aren't games you're looking at. These aren't games. This points to a URL that has nothing there. That's literally what's there.
Yeah.
So what happened to this company? And if someone like me would ask, if this studio no longer exists, are there other studios that came to some sort of end, either publicly or legally or behind the scenes, where they don't have money to continue working on this stuff? And obviously the morality or ethics, business ethics of putting out products with a company that can no longer exist to complete the products is obviously, if it's not fraudulent, I don't know what it is at that point. I don't know what it is.
We know that none of the physical games were truly 100% done. That they sold.
Sure.
However, this is just a slap in the face.
This is beyond the pale. These
not,
two games are at least beyond. I'm not talking about Brain Duel. How if that's ever done? You look at something like Brain Duel in the box. It looks like it could be filler text or demo shit happening. But like these are games that potentially could never be finished.
Let me see the biplanes. Oh, look at that. Very fun.
These little dinky physical products. By the way, we talk about how cheap they are.
Yeah.
I had to get my hands on them. I had to. Someone had give me a few. I wanted to get them all just to have them there. We don't know how far they're completed. We don't know if it was one thing. If it'd be one thing to say at the time, well, we're gonna finish these in house at Intellivision, even though they don't have it in house. It's all second party devs.
1.5.
1.5 party. So like they communicated nothing of this before putting these games on sale, and now I invite everyone to reach out to the devs of all these other physical products. Don't harass, but be like, hey, what's happening? Are these games finished? Did you know? Hell, ask them, did you know they're going to come out with physical products of these? Did you communicate any hesitation about this? I'm not comfortable. If you were a dev, Ian, would you be comfortable putting out a game that you know is not finished, a physical game? Would you think that's kind of weird?
Oh yeah, I would think that sucks. That would suck. That sucks. Like I want to know what they think about this.
Yes, especially if part of the reason why they might have gone out of business is that, oh, we're not getting funds to continue this. So we're not getting funds to continue our game, but you're going to make money putting out a trinket based upon the work up to that point.
Yep.
That's what they did. Like, you don't think this can get any lower, but it gets lower. It gets lower. And they smile, and Hans is in Poland somewhere. Here's the assembly line of these fucking trinkets getting made. This shows we're a real company. This shows the consequence. It doesn't show shit. It shows nothing. It shows contempt for your consumer base.
Yeah.
And it shows you just how desperate you are. That's what it showed.
Extremely
desperate. And I brought up in the intro, Ian, that I watched the Big Short.
Yes.
And one of the characters, the Steve Carell character, he's a guy in finance, so he obviously knows what it works, but he has ethics. And he wanders through the movie wondering, how could you sell these securities that are worthless? How could you make money out of this? How could you screw over people on bad mortgages and get bonus for it? How could you do all this? And here's the answer. A lot of people don't fucking care. As long as they get theirs, they don't fucking care who they have to pull a trick on. They don't worry about future consequences. They just put it out there.
Yep.
And it may not be always bad intentions. What's that dumb quote? The path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Path to hell is paved with good intentions, yes.
Or whatever, the road to hell. It didn't start out, fraudulent. It became fraudulent along the way.
I've seen this echoed a lot, and I've said it for a long time now, but I've seen it echoed a lot lately. It all goes back to the fact that the one-time CEO has a love affair with the book called The Secret. He literally just thought talking about this idea was going to bring people to him. I think
the magnetic draw of talent, people doing things that he can't or be qualified for.
I think he felt that he was felt big enough about himself that just talking about this idea and getting people excited, I feel like he thought he'd have people knocking down the door to work with him on it. And they didn't. And the money never came like he thought it was going to. So they just strung it along for 3 years for ego.
You might have had that happen, but from my sources say this became a thing where any dissent internally at Intellivision Entertainment, it was quashed or you were gone. Well, so like anyone with probably a reasonable criticism, like podcasters, oh, you're a naysayer, you're a negative Nancy, we don't want you around, even though you need that in order to have your company come through with a decent product.
I really want the story I want to know more than anything is the story of the controller, because that was clearly something that Tommy wanted and Tommy just had to have, was that controller.
And that was worked on well more advanced of the system, was that controller.
And I looked at the Intellivision website recently. I can't remember why I was looking, but they talk about how much they're like, this doesn't look like a normal. It's in the FAQ. That doesn't look like a normal controller. Why? Tons and tons of market research showed this is no.
There was no market research done.
Bullshit. There was no market research done. Every person we know who's touched it has, except for some of the shills, has been like, this is weird at best, or this is what's holding everything back at worst.
But they were married to it immediately, as we know.
Right, because you gotta look like the Intellivision. It's all for fucking show.
You get a coin, you get a lenticular card, and you get basically a hotel key card that points to a unencrypted URL. That's what these things are. And some people say, "Oh, these are going to be worth money." They're not going to be worth money. These are going to be These are going to be liquidated in the bankruptcy hearings or whatever. They're going to be liquidated. These are going to be worth nothing. I bought some of these just to have them, and I just wanted it for the historical value. I fed into.
Stop making excuses. You bought it. It's fine. You've excused it like 3 times already. You bought it. It's fine.
But I think what's going to happen is that slowly you're going to hear employees speak out. Like I said, I get murmurings about things. Obviously, a company like this had a bunch of yes men. Obviously, because you would not have had this shit happen.
Had anyone been critical, that would not have come out. That would not have come out of a company that was smart or had critical minds behind it.
If you had a smart company, Tommy would have been thrown off a CEO sometime in early 2020 or even 2019, I'd say.
Sure.
But this goes back to the fact that when they took the pre-orders in early 2020, they knew the console wasn't coming out in late 2020.
Oh, yeah.
No. That was fraudulent. I'll say that. In my opinion, that was fraudulent to do that.
Yeah,
to advertise a date you're never going to hit.
The excuse can be, we'll finish it later, but at some point you've got to stop making it. No,
the excuse is that the chip shortage. The pandemic gave them a disgusting cover.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the games.
These.
Yes.
I mean, the console itself.
The console, yeah.
The console was the same sort of thing. We're going to promise you a console. We want your $100. Now we're going to promise you a console later this year. Even we know it's not going to happen. We know that we don't have a firmware guy on the console. We're not going to get that guy till the summer, that's when they really brought the heat at us, all the cultists and shills. When we pointed out the common sense things, like, how can you put out a console when you have to hire the people to work on the console still, and we're like 5 months
Yeah, that was
away.
really where when we started seeing those like job openings, and they started being like, it's for accessories in 2021.
No, that was a lie.
Yeah,
that was a lie. That was a lie.
Of course.
So this is compounding it, but I guess this is like, not that it crystallizes it, seeing a company go out of business that was working on this or be dissolved. Never good, by the way. But yeah, I want to know now. I want a journalist to find out some of these other companies, what's happening. I want journalists to pound the pavement and find out what's happening with these other devs.
Yeah.
Unless they're under NDAs, at some point those NDAs become worthless. We do know that, like, I did hear that, for example, my inside sources saying that, for example, I always forget the Breakout dev, one of the only good-looking games.
Choice Provisions.
I did hear they were not happy with their game being shown at the E3 presentation last year.
Oh, right.
That was something that may have been unapproved for them to continue down that. So Choice Provisions may have been done at that point.
Well, Choice Provisions is also an actual video game company that has released many good games that I've enjoyed.
I wonder now if Intellivision put out that PC demo, I wonder if they had permission to do that. And maybe that's where it happened. Remember the PC demo of Breakout, where you can use your mouse to play? You need a controller, a fancy controller. I wonder if that happened. God, these are so cheap, these things. Yeah, you're right, I do feel dirty for having gotten them. By the way, this is great. This is the one thing pointed out. They got the font messed up. For some reason, in biplanes, they didn't go boldface like the other.
Oh, yeah, so I know.
Just little errors like that, which is just, whatever. I'm not even. And then Tommy tried to say, "Whoa, that's going to be part of the fact that this is the first run of these. Like, there's going to be a second or third."
Oh shit! I just want to throw out Whoa Dave was a game by Choice Provisions that I love, and I used to play all the time on the 3DS. And there is a Whoa Dave Deluxe on Switch for $4.99. Came out in 2014, but I'd highly recommend you spend your $5 on that. If you want to support a dev, if you want to support one of the devs of what could have been.
Speaking of game journalists, I'll just bring this up. There's a certain cultist game journalist that prides himself on being an old school game journalist that not only does that and attacks people like us, but has gone out of their way to slander Sam and libel Ars Technica about their coverage of this the entire time. Hey, hey, game journalists, why don't you ask Tommy and look into the Intelligence and look into this company, Wasted Studios, and figure out why they were dissolved and figure out how far along some of these physical product games are.
Yeah.
Use all your heralded game journalism skills to actually investigate and look into something that your quote-unquote friend did. Why don't you do that instead of running cover for the guy because you're in love with him? Why don't you do that?
Yeah. Can I call Zadok Pate a piece of shit again?
Oh, you can
quick?
do-
Okay,
you-
I just wanted to
you can
make
do it
sure.
every time.
I just wanted to make sure that everyone.
You can
knows
do it
that.
every time if you want. I'm just saying, like, it's a caricature. The problem with this is that you couldn't make a movie out of this because Tommy's so unlikable. Like, you can't follow. He has like almost nothing redeemable. It's like, you can't follow him around for 90 minutes and just see the downward spiral of
Right.
good intentions. You have to find like someone inside Intellivision. It's almost like The Room. You got to find like the guy palling around with the guy to be like, hey, this is not right. That's how you got to write this movie. There, I just figured out. You need someone to be like the right-hand man that's trying to like point it in the right direction and constantly gets, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm doing here. That's what's going to happen. There anything else to add? Or, you know, it's just like, I couldn't even get super agitated because I'm tired. But like, I just think it's incredible that a quote-unquote game journalist goes after a real game journalist about something they should investigate themselves at some point in time. I just think it's hysterical.
Yeah, it's nuts.